views expressed by our guests are their own and do not reflect the official stance of their employer or any affiliated organizations. We're going to talk about the new executive orders coming out of the Trump administration that seek to launch what many are calling a nuclear renaissance in the U.S. and focusing on accelerating reactor construction, revitalizing uranium production, and asserting nuclear as a national security priority.
Yes. A couple weeks ago, well, a week ago, May 23rd. What's today, the 31st? May 23rd, he signed 4 executive orders aimed at revitalizing the whole nuclear energy sector, essentially. They have a very ambitious goal to quadruple the nation's nuclear power capacity from 100 gigawatts to 400 gigawatts by 2050. That's the main point of what he's trying to do.
And in order to do that, they're breaking it out through reactors, being able to push different types of reactors faster, a little more through the process as opposed to just taking years. We have also uranium deposits that are now being mined in Utah and other states that are being looked at in the states. So I think they realize that in order to actually make a difference here with nuclear, they're going to have to actually change up different areas of how we find it and consume it.
Yeah. Well, one of them is that they want to reform the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. So they want accelerated licensing. So they want basically to mandate that the NRC is to streamline its licensing process. And they want to approve, or basically the Trump administration wants the NRC to approve new reactor applications within 18 months, which is, accelerated. That's fast. The other piece is they want a regulatory overhaul. They want a comprehensive revision of NRC regs, including maybe relaxing some of the radiation safety standards, which others have said in the past are really overkill. And they want some organizational changes. They want direct collaboration with Doge, and they want them to reorganize some of their staffing and operations. And I think, again, it's like the typical Doge thing, take out the fat, take out the bureaucracy and the things that increase the time to final application. Another executive order, they want to reinvigorate the nuclear industrial base. So they want to have more domestic fuel production, and boost uranium mining and enrichment.
Mm-hmm. Another interesting thing on here is military-based reactors, so that they're going to deploy nuclear reactors at domestic military bases all before 2028. So that would allow them to have their own energy grid, basically.
That is in a different executive order. So I was going through the second one. So the second executive order is reinvigorating the nuclear base. So boosting the uranium mining and enrichment and a reduction of reliance on foreign sources, right? And then workforce development. They want to get the DOL and DOE to expand nuclear energy training, apprenticeship programs, et cetera. Financial support. It directs DOE, Loan Programs Office, and SBA to prioritize funding for nuclear projects. So all good things for nuclear so far. And then to your point, the third executive order it's for advancing nuclear technologies for national security. So you were saying about the military application. So tell me again what you were talking about.
That basically their goal before 2028 is to have a lot of different military bases deploy their own nuclear reactor so that they can have their own source of energy in case anything were to happen and the grid were to be affected. Yeah. The military bases would be fine.
Smart. They probably have a bunch of diesel generators right now, I'm guessing, as backup. But yeah, they want the first operational by 2028. And this is 2025. This is like getting into middle of 2025. Right. So 2.5 years.
things are going to get moving.
We're gonna
You're going to see.
We're gonna have to watch the news on that and see which base is gonna get it.
Yeah,
because that, I mean,
well, I think there's going to be multiple bases.
Yeah, but they have to do the first they want the first one operational by 2028. So they probably have the pilot base that they're rushing, to get done. But that's a short fuse. No pun intended. So, and then what about AI infrastructure? I know they're, the AI data centers take up a bunch of power and are expected to take up even more power. And DOE facilities, are part of critical defense infrastructure, and they want those to be powered by, nuclear as well. Yeah. So that's, I
think we're going to see a huge change in how things are going to get done. Yeah. Now that we have this new source of energy that we've had it for a long time, but there's been a cap on it, and it's sort of revitalized.
And the final thing for that executive order is they're directing the release of at least 20 metric tons of high assay, low enriched uranium for private sector use in powering the AI infrastructure, which is cool. And then finally, the fourth executive order is enhancing nuclear exports and international collaboration. So they want to, increase global competitiveness, task the Secretary of State, leading efforts to promote U.S. nuclear technology abroad, including negotiating agreements to facilitate exports. And then financial strategies to increase financing and technical support for foreign adoption of U.S. nuclear energy technologies.
When I think about what people say to go against this type of action when it comes to how they feel about nuclear, they make a good point that radiation is very bad. It causes nuclear waste. But I think that we live in a time now where we have such advances in all these different areas that it hasn't even been looked at. And when you really dive into each area, you see that there are ways to protect the society, the environment, the society around it, and benefit immensely by creating new energy to support massive initiatives.
I mean, there are some criticisms and concerns. Experts raise alarms about potential compromises to safety due to the expedited licensing process and proposed relaxed radiation standards. But 18 months is fast, so experts are concerned about that, and they're raising alarms. The involvement of DOGE in NRC operations has been criticized for possibly undermining the commission's independence. They're supposed to be an independent agency. Environmental groups express concern over the rapid approval of projects like the Velvet Wood uranium mine in Utah, citing insufficient environmental reviews, which is interesting because, environmental groups are the ones that want nuclear because it's, still kind of green. I guess that whatever mining you do and whatever you do to create the fuel, there's environmental concerns related to the production of that. And then you have the leftover nuclear waste. And so I guess what you would have to do is calculate and build out a model to take into consideration all of the environmental issues or waste or anything that is being produced in order to produce nuclear energy, and then compare that to all the waste and everything that goes into creating coal-fired, energy, and creating hydro and creating, not to mention what the hydro power does to the ecosystem for the fish and things like that, and in the rivers and whatnot. But yeah, there's a lot of, if you don't come into this with an emotional attachment, you can dig down into the data and you can kind of compare it and have an objective opinion on where we should be getting our energy from.
And you look at all areas of where you get energy, there's always something that you could point out that is not great for the environment or whatever they're near. But I think by diversifying your energy sources, you're going to allow for a lot of room to do a lot of things.
Yeah, I agree. Some of the industry responses have been pretty positive. All the energy companies have welcomed and tech companies have welcomed the executive orders. They've noted increased investor confidence and stock upgrades, which is great. Uranium producers praise the focus on domestic fuel production, viewing as a step towards energy independence. So that's positive. The administration's broader policy, has sparked debates over the balance between energy development and environmental protection. Yeah, there's been a lot of news. I mean, it's still unfolding, and it's I don't know how many people expected these orders to come. Like,
they seemed pretty quiet and quick, but then again, so do a lot of them.
Yeah, and that may just be this administration, how fast they're moving on a bunch of different things. But yeah, I mean, we were just talking about this not too long ago.
Right, we were looking for things and we didn't see anything.
Well, and we were saying, where has the lobbyists? Where have the nuclear lobbyists been? And where's the nuclear lobby? And I was complaining that, and then when we were talking to Bud Albright at his place when we were smoking cigars that one time, and he agreed. I mean, I don't know, who saw this coming, or who was behind it, or anything like that. But man, it came quick, and it's like, personally, I think it's a great thing, because that's where we need to go. We need to go nuclear, and so to be able to get our usage from, I think the teens in percentage, up to 30%, 40% over the next couple decades of power compared to other power sources it'd be fantastic. And I think it would also help the environment at the same time.
I think it probably would. You're not putting out as much smoke into the environment.
Yeah. And the other thing is it's bringing, it's probably bringing jobs, new industry jobs, and these people that have to get trained up on running them. And if you're talking to small modular reactors, you'll have to have, sure, you're going to have AI that can do a lot of stuff, but you'll have to have almost like a tech control or an overall network ops kind of center, where you've got, a bunch of skilled humans that are kind of watching everything and making sure everything's going on as planned. And that's going to take, more training and more resources.
Just to wrap it up, I do think that this is really interesting, and we're gonna continue to update our audience on all the new things that come about it, including the companies that stand to benefit immensely. There have already been companies like NewScale, TerraPower, BWXT that have seen stock increases. Venture and institutional investors are beginning to view nuclear as a de-risked growth opportunity. And of course, the DOE loan guarantees and production tax credits are making nuclear more financeable. So
yeah,
I think that they're really truly opening up all areas for business to get involved.
Yeah, I agree. I think we probably need to get Bud on the podcast, Bud Albright. I think he'll be, he'll have a lot of insights to this. And also what I like about him is he's been through it all, like since, 3 Mile Island was operating. And so he's got a lot of experience that he can kind of, analyze this a little bit more. So we'll get him in the studio soon.